Hello, everybody out there in comic book land, and welcome to Major Discourse, where we talk about the latest and greatest comic books and comic book media with the latest and greatest creators in comic books and comic book media. I am here with Yogi John Escudero. I am here with Alexander Gravitas, or as I like to call him, Alex Garcia, aka the Cog, the comic OG. But we are here to talk about someone particularly special. Ladies and gentlemen, the Emperor of Ink, the Prince of Pencils, the Senpai of the Splash Page, Master of the Motion Blur, the Phenom of the Framingham Library, Mrs. Rosetta's favorite student, Beta Ray Bill's homeboy, and the man who booked God in a handicap tag match, Daniel Warren Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
What an intro. I'm actually impressed. That was like really solid.
Thank you. Yes, what an impressive career that you've had, Dan, and you just seemingly, everything just seems to be getting better. I have been a fan of yours for a while, but I gotta say, this man over here, Alex Garcia, he's the one that actually put me on to your Transformers run, and then, no, actually it was doing Powerbomb first.
Yeah.
And then it was Transformers. He knew I'm a humongous wrestling fan. We have a contender, AEW champion, right here as well. I know you also have a belt, so you guys might have to scrap to figure out who's the undisputed champ.
Oh, he's going to get his belt.
It's right behind me, baby.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. But yeah, we're here to just talk about all of that stuff and more. I kind of wanted to ask you up front. I know that a lot of this journey through comics and through writing in general started with doodling Power Rangers, I hear. I'm a tremendous Power Rangers fan. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Do you have a favorite Power Ranger? Do you remember these drawings at all?
Oh, definitely remember that. Because I don't really remember drawing a ton until about first grade, which is when I was watching Power Rangers, for sure. And definitely Green Ranger.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't the Green Rangers like turn into the White Ranger or something?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He had a bit of a
Tiger.
tweener thing going on where he was starting off as a heel, and then he became a tweener for a little bit, and then he became full babyface as the White Ranger.
And then it was a White Tiger Zord or something?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, dude, that Tiger Zord, that's my jam.
I'm telling you. I had the big turtle Megazord that you used to be able to.
He had a
put other
talking
Megazords.
saber. He had a talking saber.
That's right. The saber talks. Yes, the talking sword.
Saba.
Yeah, that was definitely me just trying to get a leg up socially in first grade. Was me drawing.
Oh yeah.
I
I was always
didn't
jealous
have a
of the
lot.
kids that knew how to draw. I would try and never really have the patience, but obviously this has done you very well. Your drawing.
Yeah.
But even though you have a passion to draw, this is something I definitely wanted to hammer in on. You disliked, or maybe didn't enjoy your time fully, being a 7th grade art teacher. I am
6th, 7th, and 8th, technically.
6th,
All of
7th,
middle
and
school.
6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm a substitute teacher. I actually just did a couple hours doing subbing for a 7th grade math class, and
Okay.
Alex is also a teacher for 7th grade as well. So we have a little bit of that that empathy. Tell me a little bit about that journey. What did you like/dislike about that whole experience there?
Yeah, it was a tough one. My parents really wanted me to get a degree in teaching. They thought if I was I knew I was going to college, but I just wanted to do art as my major. I didn't necessarily want to do teaching. But my parents were convinced that if I was just an art major, that I would be destitute. So basically, honestly, if I'm being real, it was to appease my parents, so I hadn't really grown up to I'd go to high school, going into college. What's your major? Art education. Like I hadn't really figured out my own journey in that. So I did really kind of fall into teaching. I didn't have a good experience student teaching when I was in college.
Okay.
But so actually I was like, I'm never going to be a teacher. And then I got a job as a patient transporter in a hospital, just moving people around.
Oh, wow.
I did that for like 2 years. And then I met this girl who's now my wife.
Awesome.
And I was like, I better grow up and not get a minimum wage job.
Right.
So with my first teaching paycheck, it helped pay for the engagement ring.
Wow.
That
That's awesome.
Talking about paying your dues.
Yeah.
Beautiful story.
But,
Beautiful story.
Oh, geez. But I was a terrible teacher. I just didn't know what I was doing. And I was an art teacher and teaching the whole school, and I was like teaching like 700 kids, and I would only see my class. I would see each class like once a week, so I'd see each student like once a week, and there wasn't enough time or space for me to have like a class culture and build that up.
Yeah,
and it just kind of fried me. Yeah, on my first day, a kid stabbed another kid in the head with a mechanical pencil. I couldn't believe how much blood there was.
Oh my god!
It was like a Tarantino movie, where it's
Well, he was trying to make a Jackson Pollock for you.
Yeah.
That's a great omen for how things are about to go for the rest of this short time.
I remember security came up and they the kid is still bleeding, but they're looking at me like, "What have you done?"
Yeah, right.
I'm an art teacher.
yeah. I was like, I'm so sorry.
I didn't know the pencils weren't supposed to be sharpened in art class.
What's so funny now is because I work with art supplies all the time, and I always try mechanical pencils, and every once in a while I'll try a new mechanical pencil. I'm like, "Whoa, this is heavy. I could stab somebody with this."
Yeah, you got your first taste of deathmatch wrestling a little bit.
Totally. And this is way before I got into wrestling. So so a good reminder.
Well, I mean, if John Wick can do what he does with a pencil, just imagine what you can have Batman do with a mechanical pencil.
There you go,
dude.
bring out the stylus.
It's original because it's a mechanical pencil.
That's right.
There you go.
Right. Reinventing it.
Do you think that as it stands, the last time that you were there as an art teacher, that sort of environment is conducive to making kids better artists? Because I know you had a private tutor of sorts, so seeing it how the public and I guess so far the government deals with stuff like that, the arts. What do you say to that? How that's being done or dealt with right now?
I don't know. I think So the way it worked in my school was for one semester, I saw half the school for art, and then the other half just didn't do art. They only did music.
Okay.
And then they would trade after Christmas.
Okay.
And I think if there could be a way for me to have if there was a way because of the scheduling, I as I said, I only saw kids once a week. If there was a way for me to see kids every day. Yeah. So to have the same classes every day, so we could really introduce a kind of because in order for there to be good art making and good classroom structure, there needs to be some element of trust, and there's just not enough.
Sure.
If I don't see them for 7 days, there's no way for me to build up trust. There's no way to build up some sort of student-teacher relationship. So I think it is possible. I think with somebody that has more skill than me, and honestly, somebody that had more dedication, I think about art and as a craft, and I think teaching is the same way. It's a craft. It's like a skill, and I think in some ways I didn't really have the desire to get better as a teacher. I did not have that drive because I never was passionate about teaching, honestly, in the first place. So I remember thinking not only is this a struggle, it's because there's plenty of things in my life that have been a struggle where I come back home and I'm kind of beaten down and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to attack it again. Mm-hmm. And it can be discouraging sometimes, but you pick yourself back up because you have this drive and this urge and this calling. And I didn't have that with teaching. So every time I had a tough day, it was just me sinking further and further into the mud.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think it might take a different person for it to be successful.
Fair.
Yeah. But I do think it's possible.
I think it is incredibly draining because you're constantly trying to give the best energy you can all day to a bunch of different students at a time. Like I said, I only sub. I know the COG here, he deals with it every day, and I see him yelling at people in the hallway.
No, never. Redirecting, sir. The correct term is redirecting.
As the only non-teacher here, I guess. I know why I wouldn't be a teacher, because I hear the problem with creating trust and having to teach too many kids. And in my mind, I'm like, you know what this needs? This needs a Survivor reality show style format where only one kid passes at the end of the year.
And he is the graduates.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Months go on. You are the
That would be
artist.
that would be entertaining for teachers, but the district would be like, yeah, this is not good. This is not. We got one kid finishing the grade. This is not.
But
good.
he's gonna be great. He's
the best we got.
He's gonna be great.
I promise.
That's right.
Anytime I would tell people about my experiences, like my year of teaching, like, you're having drinks with civilians, like the regular people, that aren't teachers.
Oh yeah.
And we're having some beers, and I'm like, yeah, and this kid, all this crazy stuff happened, and they start giving me advice, and they're like, oh man, that's so tough, but they don't really get it. They're not really understanding. It's like a constant pressure cooker that when you're there.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't even imagine.
It takes a special kind of like grit and determination to not only deal with the kids, but do it in a way that's like compassionate, so you're not just like, shut up.
It's rough.
So wait, I'm sorry. Were you doing elementary or high school?
Middle school. So
Middle.
6th, 7th, and 8th.
6th, 7th, 8th.
Dude, oh my God. You know what's crazy is like you get to the end of the year and the 6th graders, which have been so good to you for so long, start turning into 7th graders, and it's like a heel turn. Like they go nuts.
He's busting out the terms.
100%.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know.
Not only that, but these 6th graders are getting smaller and smaller. The 6th graders that I'm seeing, I'm like, what? How old are you?
Yeah, but every once in a while you get a giant, like who's, and they're like they're 6th grade. They haven't been held back. They're just gargantuan.
Yeah,
they could beat me in an arm wrestling contest in 6th grade.
I feel like to be an effective educator, you have to have, like you said, you have to establish a level of trust and rapport, and it takes a little bit of a level of vulnerability to do stuff like that.
That's true.
I have found that a lot of your successful work does come from a level of vulnerability. Maybe a little bit of self-insert like Murder Falcon, maybe a little bit of self-insert like The Moon is Following Us. Have you found that as well? Do you find yourself more invested in the works that come from within as opposed to sort of like getting a deadline or a check?
Well, yeah, I think so. Deadlines and checks are, of course, a part of the process. It's like kind of what makes the wheels turn.
Yeah.
But I find if I like really start, if I take a project just because of the money, it's like the order is a little wrong. I really have to start with what I'm passionate about. What kind of story am I excited to tell? And then I figure out the finances and the bottom line and the deadlines. All that stuff has to be secondary. Otherwise, it's just like I get my priorities all wrong, and then making the work becomes a lot harder. And making comics is hard enough as it is. I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting in the coffee shop just like with a blank document on my iPad, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, man, I wonder what the matchup for Wednesday is. I just like anything to not have to do the work. There's a lot of that. So, so it's this pushing this rock up a hill, and it's intense, and it's amazing work, and I love doing it, but it takes that soul, it takes that excitement. So if I start with money first, that's not enough fuel to get the rock up the hill. It's just not.
Yeah.
Is that why we haven't seen like a long form run at any of the big two companies yet from you, sir?
Well, to be totally honest, the big two, they're great, they're awesome, but it's not necessarily a place where you make a ton of money. There is money to be made there for sure, but not to pull back the curtain too much, but like if you have an ongoing comic at like Image Comics where you own 100% of all the royalties, that's where like the rain starts coming down. Like that's a money train,
right?
So if I really wanted to go for the gold, so to speak, it would be doing an ongoing in Image and hoping that it really catches fire. But then I'd have to come up with a story that's like so long and I don't have it.
Right.
Because Transformers was like the longest thing that I worked on, and when I signed the contract, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. It was a big challenge.
Yeah. You did it spectacularly, sir. Well, I was very sad to see you go. I was one of the first guys on the channel here to bring it up, to tell everybody, hey, you want to get on this book, because I mean, what was that like, getting that phone call from Robert Kirkman to be like, hey, you want to do Transformers?
It actually started
already, or did he just reach out to you?
Oh, I known Robert for a long time because I did Extremity with Skybound. That's owned by Robert. And I also did Murder Falcon with Skybound as well.
Got my
And
Extremity right here.
heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And you may have heard this in interviews before, but I remember I did Extremity first, and it sold pretty well, and got the critics talking. It got an Eisner nomination, which was a huge deal for me at the time. And I remember Skybound sat me down, and they were like, "Hey, what do you have any ideas next? We'd love to work with you again." And I'm like, "I do. It's called Murder Falcon." And
great book.
I remember I was hanging out in a hotel room. Sorry if you've heard this story before, but it was me and a bunch of other comic book creators that are quite well established. And I was telling them about this really cool new idea that I just pitched Skybound on called Murder Falcon. I was telling them about it. And they are making so much fun of me. They think it's the dumbest idea ever. And I'm like, this is going to be so special. You guys don't understand. And one of the guys, he's like, "Do you even like making money?" And we were all hanging out. The same guys in the hotel room were hanging out at my table when Robert Kirkman walked up. Because I didn't pitch Robert. I pitched Sean Makowitz, who's kind of the guy who you pitch to. And then he takes it to Robert. Robert walks up, shakes my hand. He goes, "Murder Falcon, amazing. I can't wait to do it. It's fantastic." I turn to my buddies. I'm like, "See what I told you?" And it's still one of the best comics I ever made. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, Murder Falcon was kind of like the precursor to the character of Eddie on Stranger Things.
I mean, my R rep Felix texted me when that episode came out. He's like, "They stole your idea." And I was like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah. I mean,
is it flattering though, or annoying?
I mean, I'm not actually convinced that they ever even read Murder Falcon. I will say, Murder Falcon is not exactly has financial success. I think a lot of people saw the cover and it's like, why is there a chicken with a guy with a guitar on the cover?
Because it's metal, all right? It's metal.
I was so confident that it did not sell well.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, no. I was so ecstatic. I was so ecstatic to see Murder Falcon because I hadn't seen your work at that time since Beta Ray Bill. And I remember when Beta Ray Bill came out, I'm sitting there going, "Marvel, hand this man the cosmic universe. Let him do Annihilation 2, or whatever." Because that story was so gorgeous. It's so epic. I think Marvel's scared to touch Beta Ray Bill because I haven't heard anything really about Beta Ray Bill since. Yeah. I mean, that's how epic that story is. And I remember it being massively out of print until maybe like a year or two ago because your name is now just synonymous with greatness. I'm sorry to say it. Wow. It really, really is. You have to recognize that your name is one of the names in comics now. When Scott Snyder says, "Hey man, you want to do the annual for like the hottest book on shelves?" That's huge. So, but I was so ecstatic when I saw Murder Falcon on the shelf. But then, like you said, it wasn't this big hit, and it was hard for me to get the issues that I had to eventually settle for the trade. But then I made sure, and I'm still upset about this. I made sure to get the issues of Dual Powerbomb, and even that still fell through, and I had to still get the trade. I'm like, guys, listen to me. Believe in me when I tell you to order this Daniel Warren Johnson guy's books, please. Yeah. And now everyone's like, "Yeah, we remember when you were talking about him." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks."
Yeah. Shucks, bro.
Honestly, not kind of following that train of thought. How do you internalize that? Like being, and I mean, honestly, I don't know if you believe it, but he's telling like the objective truth. Like being one of the marquee guys in this industry right now. Like how do you take that in?
I don't know, man. I mean, I slipped on the ice yesterday, and I didn't feel that special.
There you go. Hey, God's just trying to humble you a little bit. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
It's weird. I don't feel like marquee. Because the creative process hasn't changed for me, and it still feels. I don't know. I mean, I'm still over here trying to rub my hands together to make magic and hoping it happens. Yeah. I'm still pushing the boulder up the hill. I try not to engage too much with what comics culture is or is not doing, and so that's very flattering to hear. And I do believe it. It's just but I don't feel it.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say, I was watching one of your interviews and you said something that made me laugh, but also because it feels very much like kind of what we do here, where you said that you made Transformers and it'd be great if people dig it, but you kind of made it for you. I love that sort of artistic point of view of, if you're not believing in it, if it's not exciting you to do it, if you're not the one that's, constantly burning creating the flame for this, then it doesn't work. Is that how you feel about all your projects?
Yeah, I maybe when I was first starting out, maybe not so much, I'm kind of taking what I can take and getting what I can get. But yes, I mean, when I took Transformers, I was convinced I was like a lateral career move, because up until then, who was really buying Transformers comics?
It's true.
So I remember talking to Rachel about it, being like, hey, this might not be the best career move. Should I do it? And she's like, do you want to do it? I was like, yes. She goes, and I think there's your answer.
Yeah.
And that again is the thing that helps me through, because doing the job well takes so much. It's just I don't want to I'm over here making comics. I'm not exactly like laying brick, but being creative and being inspired is the only way. Being inspired is the only way to make inspiring work, in my opinion. Like, I can't just dredge it up out of thin air. Yeah. So to have that feeling going into a project is just really important, in my opinion, for the success of that project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
That bled through. I mean, were you a Transformers fan as a kid, I imagine?
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
So I believe you have an Optimus shrine somewhere. Am I correct?
An Optimus drawing?
No, shrine.
Don't
you have
it? Yeah. You want to see it?
He has
I see one of the toys. I see one of the toys up there. Yeah, right.
There you go. Look at that. There you go.
That is fucking, bro. The display.
And you got a Jetfire.
So this is like me, like the mess. This is the mess. This is what I actually am like curated. So
that's beautiful.
So he's standing in front of that when he asks his wife, "I don't know if I want to do this Transformers comic."
You know what? Let's watch Rachel. She comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, so," and it was such an earnest question. She walks up. She's like, "When will your Optimus Prime collection be completed?"
Oh,
babe.
Oh, babe. When he dies as a character, it's officially over.
You guys want to hit it with that
Hulk Hogan?
Yes.
You want to see something super sick?
Sure.
Hold on. It's like take 5 seconds. Awesome. Okay, so the head of Hasbro's toy design sent me this package. It's just like a box. It's not official Hasbro or anything.
Okay.
But I met him at San Diego Comic-Con last year when he told me that they were working on this, and this is like the official Hasbro.
That's the toy from you.
This is the prototype. So they announced this at New York Comic-Con last year, and they sent me the prototype that they used to basically get the proof of concept down.
Damn, that's pretty
This is what it's all about, right? When you get into comics, this is what it's all about, right here.
I opened this package in front of my mom, and I was like, I made it.
But listen, you got to be careful with that thing because he's corrupted. He might attack you.
That's true. It's true. Well, I have the original. I have the toy here.
Nice.
With this knockoff head from China because I like it better than the regular sculpt. But they looked at my drawings and they based this head sculpt off my drawings, which is so flattering.
Dude, bro, that is awesome.
It's so sick. It's so sick.
That's pretty.
I won't lie. Anybody new comes to my house, this is the first thing I show them.
I can just imagine, like the freaking Oscar. Like, have you seen my Oscar?
Oh yeah, dude. My plumber. I'm like, hey, did you see this toy?
Right. Oh my god. Hey, before I introduce you to my wife and my kids, let me show you something real quick.
Let me show you this.
Every once in a while, you meet somebody new. My kids go to school. My wife does stuff during the day, like just errands or whatever. So I'm home by myself in this studio with all this nerd crap in it, and this Optimus is in my kitchen.
That is awesome. How many times as a kid did you watch the Transformers, the movie, the animated movie?
Oh man! So this is back VHS days, so like the Blockbuster days.
I still have my VHS copy.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. So they didn't have the TV show in VHS at the time at Blockbuster. The only thing they had was the Return of Optimus Prime. It was like the special. Like anytime there'd be like multiple episodes in a row, they'd put it in a VHS package.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the animated film. And I saw the animated film sometime in the 90s. And it was on VHS, and it just blew me away. And it just, even then, I knew it was a step above the show. Like the animation, the intensity, the music, just the production quality was so much higher. And I would watch it over and over and over again for the whole weekend. We'd bring it back. And the next week, I'd be like, please, God, Mom, please let me rent this again.
That's gotta be. I didn't get to see the movie back then. I had to watch it like knowing everything in hindsight, like knowing it's a watershed moment in like pop culture, and like knowing the Optimus Prime twist already. So like I kind of got to enjoy some kind of it. It's still a great movie though.
I got a couple years. I got a couple years in you, Daniel. So me and my brothers, I remember watching it and just being like, "Did they just kill Optimus? Like, did that just happen? Did they yeah? No, it was
really my first experience with death right now. Like,
yeah, no, it was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No, I mean,
Mom, what's the matrix of leadership?
Dude, it's so cold. Like the reason they did it, just pure. Capitalist money, baby. It's like, let's get this out of the way so we can bring in this whole new line. It has just devastated an entire generation. It's that kind of stuff that like makes me so happy just to be alive. You know, a corporation trying so hard to make a buck, and they just end up creating a legendary.
Oh my God!
Through their failure, they provided me an avenue to tell a story about the Transformers that would eventually net me 2 Eisner Awards.
There you go. And his own Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime. Success. How is that?
What he said? What George Lucas say? It's like poetry.
It rhymes, man.
You know, but I mean, but speaking like that's what I want to get into with your books, because you sure. the Don hit earlier. All your stories really start from the heart. You can tell that. You can tell that from Do a Powerbomb, The Moon is Following Us, and even your Transformers run. The fact that most Transformers fan, I'm pretty sure, will tell you, we don't give a shit about the humans. We don't care about the humans.
I heard that a lot.
But one of the first things you do, I remember in one of the earliest issues, and I know that was the issue that made me turn and go, because Don, I always bring this up. Don over here, he's a veteran. Sure. And when you're able, without words, panel for panel, when him and Spike's dad are sharing war stories without a word, you just feel the emotion on that page. Like, where, I mean, obviously, The Moon is Following Us and Do a Powerbomb, I can tell that's from family, but where did you draw that emotion from?
Well, I was just trying to find a way to have some sort of analogous kind of story beats between Optimus and Sparky, and have that kind of be that driving force, and having kind of taking the lens a little bit off of Spike in the first 6 issues, because he gets shot and he doesn't really do much for the rest of the story, and it turns more into a Sparky tale, and Sparky has the most amount of growth that happens in the series. It's in the first 6 issues, so I kind of did this double take, and it's no secret that like I'm kind of leaning into the father aspect of Optimus Prime and relating that to Sparky, and then in turn Sparky's experiences with everything that he's gone through, kind of relating over to Optimus Prime, being in a war that's gone on for thousands of years. It just seemed ripe for me to kind of get into that. And so you mentioned like we don't care about the humans, and it's a valid point. But honestly, I almost needed the humans to have the feelings for the Transformers. Like, it's, in my opinion, easier for a reader to emote with Spike or Sparky than it is necessarily with Optimus Bumblebee. It's definitely possible just on their own, but I felt it was easier if Sparky provides this kind of bridge, if Spike provides a bridge into the emotions of the Transformers. It's like it helps me bridge the gap a little bit. And you see it in the first issue, like when Spike sees Optimus emoting for Bumblebee, we're kind of like two steps removed from the experience of the grief. Like we see Optimus grieving, but then we see Spike seeing Optimus grieve, and we see Spike's reaction, and it's like this multiplication of story feelings that I was doing intentionally. I was trying to get people to like get on board with the more feeling-y aspect of the story. So
yeah, awesome. When I had started all this, obviously the big two were right here, right? Movies, TV, animation, all that. It was actually the cog here who started to get me on more creator-owned books and do a power bomb transform. I opened Transformers and I said, as a former soldier, I'm just like, how is this an angle not explored yet? Like it felt so obvious in hindsight. Like it gelled so well that you start to question like how people never got to that point before. I hear sometimes with the comic industry, it's not always all skill. Sometimes it's luck. And I feel like you've had some pretty lucky tag team partners, if we're using some wrestling parlance, Mike Spicer, Felix Comic Art, Riley Rossimo, and stuff. But what I'm really interested in is, as a fan of professional wrestling, I know that a lot of the young lions in New Japan Pro Wrestling will go and make an excursion to America to learn some of this stuff before coming back, with what they've learned. And I know that a lot of you guys in 2015 went to Japan to kind of check that out. How influential was that trip? And do you find yourself in Japan often since then?
Since that trip, I've been twice to Japan. Nice. Once again in 2023. And then another time just for like 4 or 5 days last year in 2025. And I was actually we were going to go in 2020, but of course that didn't work out.
What happened?
My wife and I were going to go. Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. And that's when I was starting to get stuff for Do a Powerbomb, which, kind of takes place in Tokyo. And I was going to be doing all this research, go to Karakoan Hall. It just didn't end up working out. So instead, I told my wife to prepare for like $300 worth of like pro wrestling magazines charged to the credit card.
Toticon? At the Toticon? Yeah, that happened to me.
It's just like some old school, like I had like 50 of these.
I gotta get mine. I was in there. I got the 4 Pillars autographs. I was like, what? What is this?
Bro,
you guys,
Toticon,
I'll be right back.
Let me tell you.
Grab your gear.
That place, dude. What a special. I mean,
yeah.
It was incredible. I did go there, but I went there in 2023, long after the book had been completed. Okay. So it was almost like a trip to kind of like finish the story of my creative journey with Do a Powerbomb.
You owed it to do a powerbomb to get back around there, get back in that area there. Look at my man. Yes. When he came back with these, he couldn't stop showing them off, but they're amazing artifacts. These things are.
It's because you got to understand, like, if you're a Japanese wrestling fan, when you go into the Toticon, it's actually a fucking museum. But you could just buy anything you want. And because the yen is low, and I'm sorry, that really sucks for their economy. But because the yen is low, you can fucking buy whatever you want. So I was like, you got the programs from like All Japan programs.
Oh, hell yeah.
They had like I said, I never in my life thought that I would be able to get Kawada, Taue, Kobashi, and Misawa's autographs. That's
sick.
Insane. But the point is, if you ever find yourself in Japan, please visit the Toticon as a wrestling fan, because it's such a special experience. It really is.
It is incredible. It's incredible. As a pro wrestling fan, it's like a mecca. You got to go. You have to go. Just straight up.
Did it help though, as an artist, going over there? I know you have a huge influence and you're a big fan of manga.
Yeah.
Would you say that a trip like that was influential in sort of your drawing style there? And
100%.
What do you think Western comics can learn from manga as an overall evolving sort of medium? I feel like manga's kind of kicking butt in ways that the Western comics aren't. And if we're America, right, and we learn from everyone else, and we adapt. What do you think we're sort of missing in our medium here?
Well, first part of the question is 100% yes. Since I was like 13 years old, I wanted to go to Japan because I was reading manga from a very early age. It showed up in my library and Framingham Public Library, like
Yeah.
Ranma One Half, Hellsing, like stuff would start showing up in my library that I was just really like soaking in. And but it was always kind of a pipe dream because it's really expensive, and especially as a comic, even on a teacher's salary, getting to Japan is tough. Yeah, and let's be real, it's not cheap. And you know, the possibility of going as an artist just seemed so far out there. So when Felix messaged me, this is either late 2014, early 2015. He was like, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing an artist trip to Japan. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Hey, that's really nice. And it's not exactly in the budget." And he's like, "Don't worry, we're going to work on that." And Felix sends he sends an email to like all of his like best primo collectors. Like these guys have Dark Knight pages. They got, Watchmen pages. We're talking like, S tier.
That's real. Yeah.
That's real. Yes. And Felix is like, "Hey, there's this young gun. He's a little upstart trying to make enough money to get to Japan. Why don't you get a commission from him?"
Awesome.
So there's like 5 or 6 collectors that have commissions for me from early 2015 of me like hustling to get to Japan. And I managed to get enough funds to go over there. And it was life-changing. In a word, it was just there are still books on my shelf that I have here that I look at all the time that are from that trip to Japan. And seeing the way that comics are read and kind of ingested in Japan, like being on a train, old ladies reading comics, businessmen reading comics, kids reading comics about tennis, baseball, traditional kind of shonen manga stuff, romance comics, gag comics, serious comics that would give you nightmares. They have everything. And not only do they have everything, but like, we have the staples that we know of here in the States, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Dan to Dan right now. I don't know, Berserk. There are things that have broken through Japan and really taken this foothold in America. But the stuff that we see here is kind of curated for like what the Japanese think that the American market wants.
That's funny.
If you're like an artist going to look for stuff that maybe you haven't seen before, I mean, we're going back to the 60s. There's stuff that will just blow your mind that nobody's heard of, that is not getting any sort of publication. Everything's out of print. If it's not popular, it doesn't get made. So you're going through these old bookstores, and it's like the kind of like old book smell that kind of makes you not able to breathe, like old, like flipping through old dusty comics.
I love it.
You can like feel it on your fingers. You can smell it.
Yeah.
And it's like that over and over and over and over and over again, like nonstop, absolutely overwhelming. Always something new to see, something new to be inspired by, which honestly at this point I need, because I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I have all the Mobius books that are available. I am always looking for new stuff to get me hungry. And a lot of that comes from experiences now, getting into new things, but it also comes from experiencing new artists. And that was just back in 2015 when I was first starting out. That was like times a million, just taking it all in and being blown away. Without that trip, Extremity would not have happened. Do a Power Bomb would not have happened. Murder Falcon would not have happened. I mean, it was gargantuan for me. So then by the time I went back in 2023, not quite, 10 years later, I was in a different place in my career. I could afford to go to Japan, and it was like I stayed there for longer, and it was like it was getting even deeper in and figuring out, like, as I could feel my tastes change as I get older, and I'm into new things. And like I found in 2023, I found this thing called Battle Slave Lusa. Is it okay if I show this? It's kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on now.
So you're gonna think this is not just TNA, okay? It's
right.
This woman gets abducted by slavers, and she just breaks free and just kills all the men. She just kills all. That's all she does. Dude, it's so insane. It's so insane. Like Okay, here she is.
Battle Slave Loser. I'm gonna have to write that down actually.
Damn.
Okay, so she's in like the stocks, you know?
Yeah.
And she like she like takes the stocks and she like decapitates all the dudes holding her hostage.
Ah!
So this is like 1970s, early 80s.
Wow.
Kazumi Kakizaki, Battle Slave Loser. I had no idea this even existed.
Right.
They're not printing this.
Right.
You can't find this.
No.
Mind blowing.
It's kind of hard to put that right next to One Piece, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Exactly.
You mentioned
also it's like really inappropriate.
It's that unique, very Japanese style, like storytelling style that makes that so compelling to us over here that's foreign to us. But like recently, I feel like, especially after the pandemic, anime it really started to become Japan's like biggest import or export, excuse me. And so that is kind of starting to change the way that the manga is being written and the anime is being adapted from. Like Mappa just made a big deal with Netflix the other day.
I was about to say that. Yep.
And so does it scare you that that's going to have an effect, not like immediately, but maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line, to how these stories are being told? And with an international, with America, I guess they say international, but it's like with America in mind, you know? Yep. Does that scare you at all?
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't scare me to see all the manga on the shelves that I see kids reading. Because there's like, if the market is trending younger with manga, with more teenagers, young teenagers even, and they're really into it, it's not going to stop with manga. I mean, they're going to get older. This market is going to age, and they're going to look for new experiences. It's just, I feel like the storytelling, the art form of comics is powerful enough that it can walk through and next to somebody as they go through life. I honestly do. So I think it will evolve, and I think that any kind of like education or any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like anytime you put a comic of any kind, manga or otherwise, in a young reader's hands, I think it's only going to be a positive.
Yeah.
Because I need more bodies to buy my comics.
Yeah, comic books are a gateway to literacy, right? Like, you know, get them on. And I think that might be a little bit of what the Western influence is missing, is this whole like manga where you get a manga for about $8, right? So it's like, you know, first one's on me, kid. You know, you'll be back, kind of stuff. And I feel like that entry point may not be so clear for Western audiences, especially when you're dealing with characters that have been around for 80 years, right? When do you jump in? That stuff has to be crazy. When it comes to some of your work, I find it very bombastic. You know, like I was talking about, I said, the master of the motion blur. Like, you're one of the first artists that I feel like has mastered like speed, like the speed of movement and the speed of action and stuff like that. How much does your fandom for wrestling kind of feed into that?
Well, speed-wise is almost separate from like pro wrestling. So like pro wrestling, I would consider like speed. I would consider like a backbone, like something my art cannot exist without. Pro wrestling is like the rosemary that kind of adds this kind of depth of what you might be looking at. And I just, you know, superhero comics, whatever. There's a lot of people punching and kicking, and there's nothing wrong with it. But like when you get specific with stuff, with actions, with the way that someone is destroying another person's body, what have you. It's just like it only makes people lean in closer, I feel. So to have pro wrestling be an influence on the way that I choreograph scenes, it's just it's a way to keep it interesting for myself. Again, going back to what's inspiring me, what's helping me push that rock up the hill, you know. I'm always looking for new things to add to the well that I can draw from. And pro wrestling, like you said, the bombasticness, the kind of brazen, like, yep, we're doing this kind of vibe, like only helps with me making stories and making fight scenes that I feel are memorable. And like, I remember, like, you're watching this stuff, like you're watching in wrestling, you're watching these people do these insane things with their bodies. Like, it is insane, but it goes so fast that it's because they're fast. They're you take it and the moment passes, and it's almost like you forget how amazing it is like 5 minutes after it happened, right?
Yeah.
But in the visual arts, I'm able to like make you focus on one thing and one thing only. Like, every little beat is helping you understand how this wrestling move is broken down. And when the impact happens, I have complete control over that. And it's just a way of celebrating the art form even more and just in the way I kind of approach it. It's just a blast for me to do. So that's the main reason why it's there. And then the speed and that kind of vibe, that's like something that's almost like my signature. And it's something that I'm still pushing the envelope on. Like, how can I make this even crazier? That's the goal.
I've been reading Transformers comics for a while, and you go back to the original Transformers stuff. You go back to the Pat Lee stuff when they first went
Pat Lee, sure,
to Dreamwave, and Transformers art was always about those huge stoic poses or maybe just locking in maybe on a transformation real quick. But then when people were like coming into the local comic shop that I hang out in, everyone's like, should I pick up Transformers #1? And I'm sitting there going, do you want to see Optimus Prime give somebody a clothesline? Do you want to see Optimus Prime give somebody a German suplex? And they're like, what? I'm like, check out these panels. Check out these panels. And my buddy who runs the shop was just like, dude, you're amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm like,
thank you so much.
Because I'm like, it was so unlike anything we'd ever seen before with Transformers, because Transformers was always, just posing with the guns and shooting. The fact, like, you almost rarely saw melee attacks with Transformers.
Yes,
it was very, very rare. It was very, very rare. Every now and again in the cartoon, you see somebody maybe a punch or a kick, and it was so generic. But I remember when I first saw those pages, and I saw, did Optimus just hit this dude with a awesome mega clothesline and then a German suplex? Like, it's a wrap. I'm collecting this series. Thank you, Danny Warren Johnson.
So talking
also,
about, like,
really quick though, speaking of wrestling moves and Transformers, did you notice the drop kick in issue 6 against Devastator?
Oh yes, yeah.
That is my crowning achievement. I was trying to add a drop kick in the series up to that point, and it was just not working. Like, it was so hard to draw. Just blocky legs, like it's impossible.
Yeah.
So I finally I did like a little sketch in my sketchbook. I was like, oh my god, I did it. And I literally took a picture of it, blew it up, and light boxed it onto the page. So
Fantastic.
there you go.
Fantastic.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
go ahead.
No, it's all good. That's
about
so
you,
much
man.
better.
It's about you.
You have been, or I guess you already did, the DCKO variant covers with the wrestling inspired superhero stuff, and they also have, like, at the same time going on, the DC AEW like relationship partnership with all these other things going on. One, obviously, because you're a fan of the art form, your covers came out. I mean, I love Dan Mora so much. First of all, I love those covers to the AEW stuff. But because you love wrestling, it was something that came across more authentic, like more authentic about your wrestling covers, because it's like Superman doing a brain buster, or Batman in a lucha inspired outfit, or Harley Quinn doing the damn Texas Death Match. How come, I guess, you aren't more involved with the AEW stuff? Like, how did this happen?
I love you're like you can just dive right in, man. You don't have to go around the pool.
Cool.
What happened?
I don't know. I did one cover of Hangman Page, like clotheslining Lex Luthor. And I really wanted to be the Joker, but I wasn't allowed to use the Joker for some reason. I was super bummed. I was like, who wants to see him clotheslining Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
So not my call. But I don't know. to be honest, like I kind of have had my like, I'm just in whatever project I'm in, and I didn't even really know it was happening until I saw it in the stands. Like I saw it and it was cool, it's great. And it's a blast. And honestly, I itched my itch with Do a Power Bomb. And me and Skybound, somebody over at Skybound, their head of business development, tried to pitch AEW on comics in early 2020.
Wow.
Being like, hey, Skybound, we're big fans, and this guy, Daniel Warren Johnson's a big fan. He thinks he can do something special for you. And their licensing guy at the time basically just did not engage with us whatsoever. Interesting. We were trying to like have a meeting with him, and we couldn't really. He was like this, like conversation. And I was like trying to figure out a way. I was like, hey, like I know what I'm doing, but he's like did not want to hear it. But what was really cool is he kept giving us the kind of like the business, like, oh yeah, maybe I'll see you later in the bar kind of vibe, right? And we're like, oh, okay, no problem. This is at C2E2 2020. And there's this big bar that happened, this big hotel that's right across from where Revolution happened in 2020. The Hangman Page and
Kenny versus the Bucks.
Yeah, incredible tag match. Incredible. Yes. But anyway, I think it was the night before that match, that show, and we were trying to find this guy at the bar, and this guy completely ghosted us, right? And we were pretty bummed because you're like, oh man, I guess we missed our shot. And who walks up to me but Christopher Daniels in the bar? He's like, you're that guy. You're the Wonder Woman guy.
Nice.
And I got to meet Christopher Daniels that night, and we still talk. Like, so Christopher Daniels, bless his freaking heart. I got something else to show you. Speaking of wrestling and all this stuff, I did this comic just for fun called Thank You Liger. It's like this little, it's like a comic just about I did it when Liger retired at Wrestle Kingdom. Wow. Oh gosh, well, I forget the year before. Was it 2020, right before COVID?
Yep. Oh no, 2020. Shit, it's a long time ago. Damn.
A long time ago. But Christopher Daniels asked me for a extra copy, and he gave it to Liger.
Whoa! That's again, like those.
That's incredible.
Those are the moments.
That's it. This is what it's all about.
That's what it is.
So he signed a copy for me, and he kept one for himself. So
that's awesome.
And then he even sent me a video of like Liger saying, "Thank you, Daniel. I love So he's like signing like.
Oh my god!
Golly,
that's incredible, and in full outfit.
That's so great. Yeah.
This is so perfect. It's so awesome.
But Chris was like really cagey about it. He's like, "Hey, just send me like 2 copies." I was like, "Why? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So that was
You mentioned in I guess the Do a Powerbomb, like I guess it was like the back matter. I don't remember where I read it at, but I know that you started watching New Japan in like 2020. I know it was like Ishii versus Ibushi, I think was like the big
2018 G1 2018. Last time I believe Ibushi jumped off
the balcony thing, right?
The balcony, moonsault.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're always telling him not to do that too. Like, you're going to get these people in trouble.
I'm pretty sure that was like. I'm pretty sure that venue was not happy about that.
Yeah, 2018. He's like, don't worry. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You fast forward 2026. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
It's what basically I started watching wrestling a long time ago. Obviously, I started with like WWF because it was the big entertainment thing. It was big popular, but afterwards I expanded outwards and I found other wrestling. I found Ring of Honor at the time. I found TNA and Japanese wrestling. But you started with Japanese wrestling. That's such an interesting experience. That's such an interesting thing. I have no frame of reference for that. How do you expand outwards from that? Like, and where do you go? Like, what are you enjoying today? Obviously AEW, and I know you have like several friends there now, like, which has got to be incredible.
It's fun. So, when I was growing up, man, wrestling was not allowed in the house. Yeah, they even cut off Power Rangers when I accidentally hit one of my friends with a PVC pipe in the backyard,
Yeah.
playing Power Rangers.
Yeah, I've used many.
It was a total accident, but there was blood everywhere.
I was just trying to summon
Dad was like, "That's it, no more."
He wouldn't sell. He wouldn't sell, so I had to keep hitting him.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad night. But my dad was like, "Nope, never again. No more Power Rangers." And I would see kids with the 316 shirt on, and I'd walk up to him. I'd be like, "For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son." And they're like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" I had no frame of reference.
Hit you with
for
the
Austin.
stunner.
Like, yeah, dude. Oh my God. I was just like, they're all showing me their action figures. I'm like, "What's this?" "It's The Rock, man. You don't know about The Rock? For God so loved the world." Yeah, so I missed out completely. Golden era of WWE. Completely missed out on it. And then in like 2017, I remember hanging out with Ramon Villalobos and some other guys that were into pro wrestling at the time. They were really into New Japan, and they kept drawing this guy called Naito. And they would always draw him. And I was like, "This guy looks really cool. What's this guy's vibe? I love his hair." Like, "Bro, you don't know about Naito? You don't know about New Japan Pro Wrestling?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I just like in 2018, my daughter was born, and I couldn't go anywhere for a while and just hanging out the house. Can only watch so many Ken Burns documentaries before it's time to watch something else. And so I started getting into Japanese pro wrestling, and this was right around when the G1 was starting in the summer. And I got hooked. And I didn't know that like I didn't have to watch the tag matches before. it's like week 3, and I'm like, God, like I'm almost done with these tag matches.
That's hilarious.
But
it's rough.
Yeah,
too.
it was the Ishii versus Ibushi match, and also the Kenny Omega versus Ibushi match too, and even the final, like Ibushi and Tanahashi, I believe, in 2018, that just turned me into a believer.
It's a Ishii Tanahashi. Yeah. I mean,
Ishii Tanahashi.
Ibushi Tanahashi. What the hell am I talking about? You're absolutely right.
Well,
what
Ibushi Tanahashi was the final, and it was stellar. And I don't know, it just like kind of like I saw, like even when you don't necessarily know like an art form, maybe like opera or I don't know, classical music or pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You see something so true. It's at such an elite level that even a layman can't help but be like, there is something to this.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
It was special.
And it got me excited. I think that's what your work is to a lot of people who may not.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, that's a compliment. Thank you.
They see that and they go, all right, that might be real though. Like I've seen the other stuff.
Yeah. It's like me, like my comics are like Ibushi jumping off a balcony.
It's like a moonsault into knees. I've never seen that in my life.
Look at that splash. Look at that page, the composition. Like that's from a wrestling fan. That's somebody who knows how all that looks. It's amazing. Real quick, I just wanted to mention that when I started watching New Japan, maybe a couple years prior, one of the things that I realized, one, I'm not a native Japanese speaker, right? So I'm not really listening to the commentary at the time. I hadn't gotten to switched over to the audio, to the English stuff. But they were, and they probably still are, I haven't seen them in a while, were killing it with the cinematography.
Yes.
They are. They still are. Yeah.
And I think of stuff like is it Green Leader that was silent?
Yes.
That was silent. And I think that you kind of really excel in those very silent just panel transitions that do happen to tell a story. There's no words. Again, same thing with Japanese pro wrestling, but everything you need to know is on their faces, is in the crowd, it's in the background. And you found a way to translate that. It's absolutely amazing. Just want to give you your props on that.
So, but then you mentioned like, where did I go after that? Because after the G1, you're like, where do you go? World Tag League. I found out about that real fast. Oof. And I started watching WWE, and I watched like one episode of Raw, and I was like, nope, I'm good.
Wow.
So and then like, so then when AEW came and I was all on board because it was all the people that I knew from New Japan coming over, and it was just I've been a fan ever since. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite show you've been to?
Might be All Out 2020. Oh gosh, what was the cage match with the Young Bucks?
Oh, 21. That's one of
21?
the best matches
Brothers, right?
in the history of the company. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there live. And then Danielson came out at the end, the post show.
Yes. That's the GOAT.
So I think though what's got to be number one is All Out 2019, because that was the ladder match with the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks. That was Kenny Omega and Pac, and I was such a new fan. I was in the nosebleeds, and I just had such a great time. It was like the first time I'd been to a live wrestling event, and it was life changing. Oh,
what a show to be the first wrestling event to go to live! Like
that's what everybody said.
Almost died, like in the ladder match. It's like, what the fuck,
dude? It was incredible. It was such an incredible experience, and I'll never forget it. It's like I don't know. So as I was leaving, all my friends that had come with me be like, "That was your first show ever. It's all downhill from here."
Terrible.
But they were wrong. Like I saw Revolution, and that was incredible. And then that was in 2020. And then I was at the first show back in May 2021, Double or Nothing. I went to Florida, and I saw that show where they had all the fans back, and I just watched the wrestlers come out like tears in their eyes with a full crowd back. It was the most special thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was when Britt Baker won the ladies title against Hikaru Shida, and Shida was walking out, and she was just full on bawling, like she was waving, and everybody kind of knew. Like it was a good match, but like everybody knew it was Britt's time. So it wasn't really a surprise, but like I was just so happy to see Shida, and like she caught me through the pandemic. You know, it was such a good time.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed that she hasn't been featured more often. I'm sure there's like visa issues and all that kind of stuff, but
I don't know what's going on, but I do love her.
A lot of the people from that pandemic era I miss seeing on my TV. But the thing about this company that's really cool is that I thought I knew so much about wrestling, and now they've introduced me to not introduced me. I've always known about Lucha Libre, but I never knew how to a way to get into it. And then their CMLL partnership kind of has me watching like Arena Mexico every week now. I pay $40 for that CMLL subscription. This is a ridiculous price, by the way, but I'm paying. So have you found yourself like following anything else lately regularly?
Not a ton, because my life is quite crazy, and I think it's no secret New Japan has been on the struggle bus for a while.
Yeah.
So it's mostly AEW, and it's funny, like you mentioned, like AEW being your connection to other things, like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat would show up and be like, "Who's this old guy? I don't know who this guy is."
I think that's just great. They make such an effort to like connect to wrestling history, That's what
I didn't know who Sting was. I didn't know who Sting was when he showed up.
The entire retirement tour for Sting.
What an excellent way to be introduced to Sting.
Right? Yeah. And so like it's really great, because like actually AEW has been a little bit of a history lesson for me. A new person shows up, and then I learn something new about wrestling, and I'm in a lot of instances I'm kind of watching the swan song of these wrestlers. So it's just a nice way to celebrate them. And the only wrestler I really knew before I got into wrestling was Bryan Danielson, because I did a cover of him wrestling a bear in Seattle.
What? That's amazing.
I'm gonna have to Google that and make it my wallpaper.
It's not a very good drawing. I really had trouble with the likeness.
Fair.
He's like punching the bear into the space needles.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that sounds great.
Who are you watching for right now? Who are the people that you put the pencil down maybe a little bit and paid more attention when you're watching your show?
Bandito. I was so bummed, like feeding Bandito to MJF, on TV. I was like, there's no way he's gonna win, but my Markish ass still believed.
That's it, right?
I was like, maybe there's a chance. And I was watching freaking Bandito in like GCW, just like hustling, having like a crappy table set up with a bunch of masks, and the one that was the very best was like basically like it was like about $100. I had to figure out how to convert my PayPal into pesos, and he didn't speak a lick of English. Yeah. And I was like, I was like, is this right? And he's like, you're good. And I still have that mask up in my living room, and it's like, I don't know. That guy is he's incredible. I love watching him wrestle. I love his vibes. So definitely Bandito, definitely Brody King. I still, Kenny Omega was there at the beginning for me, so I'm still on board with Kenny, and kind of looks like maybe he's going to do one last push for the title.
Yeah.
I want Kenny to be the one to kind of take it from Max, and I'm thinking about whenever Kenny does finally go for it, I want to go and see that show because I think he might win.
Yeah.
It's got to happen this year. I need Kenny to main event All In just once, like before he's done.
Yes.
Just one time.
Oh, All In. Oh.
There you go.
That would be
there you go.
Main event Kenny at All In. Oh God!
I'm saying, if Osprey's got his neck, well, they're in Europe. I don't know, man. Get that third rubber match main event in. I'm just saying. I don't know who's listening.
Osprey with some stem cells. Get him ready for it. Right. That's it, baby.
No, obviously, I guess they mentioned in the email that one half of the interview was from like Dirt Sheet Radio, and that's me. But I know I know that like the word Dirt Sheet is probably like disgusting. That's actually why I used it, because I was like, we're nice people. I like to take this word back. I just like dealing with like information. The backstage element of pro wrestling is really interesting to me. Not exactly the like rumors and like the malicious stuff, like the things that get people fist fighting, but rather the way the stories are told, and the way things change, and the way they have to call audibles and things like that. Do you find yourself following that kind of information stream at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I followed a lot of stuff after Brawl Out. I was like,
oh my God, I couldn't imagine that's new for you. That's gotta been like watching like the Montreal Screwjob or something like, right? Like,
dude, it was. I was watching that press conference and I was like, what is happening?
What is in those muffins?
What are you doing? He's just like going after those muffins and like pounding spin drifts and just like having an absolute meltdown. And I was like, what are you doing?
Why does he sound like a demon?
I was so bummed, and obviously people are not perfect, but like I was just like, guys, come on, like, good. Yeah. And I was at that show. I was at the show where he, and everything looked. He like CM Punk, like he like did a little lap around the ring, like he hugged all the fans. He was taking selfies, And then he goes back and just has an obliteration meltdown. What are you gonna do?
He's doing his lap, thinking of what he's gonna say. I've got something good.
So I don't know. It is what it is. That was really when I went full on, like every website I was in. I was like, I must know. And it's one of those things. It's like a chasing your own tail. I feel like you got to say, I have to cut it off because I'm like, otherwise I'll just make myself crazy.
100%.
But
it's interesting. We're comic book Clique, but initially I wanted to go for comic book kayfabe, but then I realized that word that a lot of people wouldn't know. And then I was well, I got to change the comic and the C in comic to K for the kayfabe. Like I started thinking like branding, and I was like, none of that's gonna work.
I should have went down that line of thinking, because I stuck with Dirt Sheet for so long that you can Google it now. But now I realize like maybe they don't like that, and that's why I have trouble getting media. So like when I'm stuck, this is just me now. I'll try to make it work. We got to talk today to Warren Johnson at least. This is incredible. Enough.
That's it. We've always been besides comics, super into professional wrestling, and I think there's a marriage there because you have these wrestlers who immediately when they come out of the gate need to have an impression, right? They're either a babyface or a heel. They have to win over the crowd or get them to boo them, and then through the action scene that you're watching, the live one-shot action scene that you're watching, they have to tell a story, and the best do it the best. I'm watching now the rise of Brody King as well as a single star. And that's been amazing, going all the way back from when he first got into that company. I mean, a rock star, in his own right, literally, and then doing stuff like that. But I kind of want to talk about the activism that you're doing with Brody, because I know that you guys are teaming up with Headlock Comics, generating funds for the families that have been affected by the ice raids in the state of Minnesota. And oftentimes when I get asked why I am so deep into comics, I tell people that they're aspirational and they're inspirational, and they think that I'm talking about like specifically Superman or Batman. And I don't necessarily look up to those characters more so than I look up to the regular Joe creators who create the inspiring stories that have Superman in it or that have Batman in it. Because I know those are regular people. They have the same problems as me. You understand? And if they can look out the window and see the world on fire, but still give me something, and all that stuff is so palpable, if you really mean it, that's why I think the best parts of this medium come in. I say all that to say that I think my generation has their Captain America punching Hitler moment. And it is in Batman Annual #1. It is the stopped salute. It is the breaking of that arm. With everything going on in the world, do you feel any sort of pressure to let the world know how you're feeling about things going on in the world? Is there a bit of great power, great responsibility with your platform? And on the other side of that, do you ever find yourself being like, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to talk about that certain thing. Because you've been outspoken on social media recently, and like I bug out because I'm like, that's a way to alienate the audience. That's what the money person would think, right? Capitalists would be like, but to me, you are gaining diehard fans by standing on your grounds. We were having this conversation about Absolute Batman and how the character feels like a bombastic necessity, because all the resistance has been kind of low and been kind of quiet. And if one side's not playing fair, why shouldn't the other side be as bombastic, be as loud, be as disruptive? So was all that kind of going in your mind when you crafted this annual? I know that some of it looks a little bit on the nose for the best reasons, but even when we posted about it and did our review about it, you had people online that were like, why is Batman beating up regular citizens, regular old Americans? And I'm like, those are not regular.
If those were regular in your neighborhood, I would move.
What's going on here?
Yeah, dude.
So was there any sort of pressure there? Because you could tell a Batman story. Those could have all been zombies. They could have all been, man bats.
Mr. Freeze, whatever.
Right. Why that choice there?
Okay, so this actually goes back to my priorities, when you were talking about like money and what's driving me. So it's no secret that like Batman art sells well, Batman comics sell well. A lot of times it's financially rewarding to work on like a Batman book. That's no secret. And my art rep knows this. And he's like, hey, you should work on Absolute Batman. You make a pretty penny. That's basically was the vibe.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. It's just reality.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, I have no ideas. I don't want to do it.
Right.
Because if I try and think of an idea because I want a paycheck, it's a death spiral.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, and Felix was like, well, just think about it. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking about it, nothing. And every once in a while he'd ask me and he'd be like, hey, DC, I know DC is interested. And Nick Dragata, the artist on Absolute Batman, was like, hey, if you wanted to do something at DC with Absolute, I'm sure we could work something out. Like everybody's super excited about the possibility of you doing something. And I was like, thanks so much. I have zero ideas. And then I watched like the inauguration and I watched this stuff happening for the second time. Mm-hmm. And I just got this image in my head of that double page spread. Like it just popped into my head. And I was like, that is enough of a powerful image that I could build a story around it. And I kind of messaged Nick and I was like, hey, I think I might have an idea. Maybe. And I got on the horn with the head of the Absolute Batman line, the editor, and I was talking to her and I told her my idea over the phone. Yeah. And I told her exactly what it was going to be, but not word for word like what you read in the comic, but it was like the vibes were very clear. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is what I want to do. If you don't want to do it, if DC doesn't want to touch this, no big. Like, I totally get it, but I'm not doing anything different. It's either you take the whole pie or you don't take it at all. And to their credit, DC was like, yep, we're into it. Let's do it. And so it was like full steam ahead. And it's because I had this idea that I wanted to do it. And it's funny that you mentioned, zombies or man bats or whatever, because halfway through writing this thing, I was like, what am I doing? This is so on the nose. Like,
oh my God, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what have I done? And I'm like rewriting it, be like, Mr. Freeze's agents or whatever. And, like, I was like kind of backpedaling, and this book did not want to get written. And I was kind of like, because you're like kind of putting your flag in the sand and saying like, hey,
100%.
And which I don't do a ton of. I'm a pretty quiet when it comes to like world stuff. I'm not really yelling on Twitter or anything like that. It's just kind of my choice. But with something like this, I just felt very strongly that I had to do it. And so it took me 6 weeks to write the issue, which is insane. Like it usually a script like that would take me like 2 weeks. And I just editing and then getting stuck and then looking up like the dirt sheets and then getting stuck and then like, and it was an absolutely miserable experience.
Wow.
But and the whole book was actually really tough to draw. It was tough to write. The cover was tough to draw. It just didn't want to get made, but I knew because of that initial idea, because of that spark, I knew that it was worth making. And when I drew that double page splash, I felt like, I don't know, it was like right in the middle of the book. And it was like, yep, it's not easy, but this is right. Like I'm on the right path. I just felt it in my bones. And I was actually hoping, like, as things got a little heated up with like the Charlie Kirk dude or whatever, I was worried maybe DC was going to get cold feet. And I was bracing. But to their credit, they kept it going, like we did it. And and then when I started wrecking people's lives, I just started doing some doodles, and I didn't really think anything of it because I did that like ice drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a good drawing for sure.
Yeah.
But I was just doing it because I was going
right
to New York Comic Con. I was going to New York Comic Con, and I just doodle for fun in my house, and I bring a stack of little sketches that I just have for sale. That's just what I do at shows now. I don't have time to really take personalized sketches. I just do what I have, and I bring what I have. And this is just one of the many drawings of Batman I had made. And I wasn't even really thinking about posting it. I didn't think much of it. And then my art rep posted it, and it's just a little, you can see it in the whole, you can see it. There's like a whole, well, there's like a bunch of drawings in one picture with like it like really tiny. It's like, well, he posted it, so I might as well just go all in. Yeah. And I posted it, and it blew up, and I had people, threatening me. I had people celebrating me. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
and it just helped. Oh, geez, Louise. But that's the thing. It's like you guys were saying, art speaks louder than words. I don't really have to say anything, I think it's very clear how I feel. And I am personally, I don't necessarily believe in violence, but man, drawing it is, it's a way for to have this connection with other people that are going through the same thing. So, yeah. I don't know.
I just want to thank you for taking that chance. Like I had a big spat because similarly with running a social media and stuff like that, sometimes things get so intense that I have to say something and speak on behalf of the vulnerable. But it's always with the backlash, and it's always with the fake news, and it's always with this sort of just vitriol that just exists online, permeates online. And then like one of my favorite modern artists just draws what I feel and doesn't elaborate past it. Just, this is what it is. And watching everyone else spiral out of control from a very simple drawing, just a very simple drawing, just reminded me about how powerful this medium is. And I think it's very important. I think, you have two beautiful children. Eventually they're going to ask what dad did during this time, what he said during this time, how he felt during this time. And the fact that you have put all that front and center, I think is going to give a lot of other people the courage to do so as well. And that's how we combat all this. We combat it together. We combat it strong. We combat it. And the most beautiful part about this is this could have just been like revenge porn. He could have just beat up everybody and at the end just raised his fist and been like, yeah, and I did it. But he ends up weeping. he ends up, you know, kind of having a moment to himself. Is it worth becoming a monster to fight the monsters? And in that moment, he realizes that it's not. And that's something that I'm also kind of taking within myself as well, because they can pull it out of you. You know, certain people can really pull it out of you. And it's hard to match their anger with grace. And I feel like you've been able to do something like that. So I just want to thank you in general for taking that chance, because I don't think it's an easy one to take. And I can see why it would take 6 weeks to kind of mull over what this story is going to be. But I am not being hyperbolic when I say that this is our modern version of Captain America punching Hitler. This is what people think of this time, and they think of the art around this time. This is going to be one of those images that's going to, you know, be in museums, in my opinion.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
For sure. Like, I just kind of following up on that, not to be redundant or anything, but I know that, like, when you're the person drawing this and you're creating this and you're questioning yourself and you're having anxiety about whether it's going to be worth it or not, just even as a consumer, like being able to buy this cover and knowing that it comes from the ice sketch, like, it's something you can be like proud of, you know, like I know how I stand, because and I know I'm right, because I can buy this on the shelf. God damn. You know, like, so definitely, again, not to harp on praise, we're supposed to be professional here, but you did a great thing, man. You did a great thing.
My favorite is when I get comments like, the haters, you know, there's mostly positive, but every once in a while you get people like, not only is this a bad statement, but it's a shitty drawing. And I'm like, well, now I know you're full of crap.
Now we're fighting. Now.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh my God. I think I'm hearing the bell. We might have to go home. I think the referee is telling us.
She's gonna show up in like 5 seconds.
Well, I think that's why she sent your daughter in first. She's like, let's do it nice first. Go tell daddy.
This title belt just coming over my head and slamming me right on top.
Oh no!
Dude, cue the
Rachel
Netflix
Johnson
credits.
runs in and ends the match.
Paul Levesque.
There you go, executive producer.
The little thumbnail, our thumbnail, like of us just like laughing in this moment, is going to go in the corner with Raw starting in 15 seconds.
And Raw rolls on.
Thank you for being here, brother.
Yes, 100%.
My pleasure.
You start off with Space Mullet, and 10 years after Space Mullet, you nab Transformers, and that becomes the thing that kind of catapults you. Besides everything else that you did that made your household name, that catapults you in front of a whole bunch of different readers. 10 years ago, we started Comic Book Clique, and to have you on here, this is my Transformers moment. This is my sort of like, we've gotten to a point and a place now that I'm just happy to share with people who are passionate about this medium. I think it's underrated. I think both mediums are underrated, professional wrestling and comic books. If you're not in them, it's very hard to explain what's special about them. But if you get bit by that bug, you'll never go away. It will never go away.
Well said.
So I want to thank you for making this contagious, making both professional wrestling and comic books contagious, making quite possibly the best professional wrestling comic book I've ever read into a power.
Hands down. Down.
Hell yeah.
Double One Wing Angel? Come on, man. Like, what was
God,
Double One Wing Angel?
Yeah, Pillars of Golgotha. Hell yeah.
That's it. I just posted the Shatter Machine the Knight's Table or whatever.
King Arthur's Table.
Yeah, King Arthur's Table, man.
I'm still shook that I actually came up with that name for that move. It's just
it's pretty damn good.
That and what's the Orangabang one? Oh, Attenborough's Cradle.
Oh yes, that was good.
Yes.
Wait a minute. You're talking about Dave Attenborough here. He's just popping himself.
You know, it was like 2 years before I even drew that page, and I was over there at Comic-Con speaking, and didn't they have this move? It's called the Attenborough's Cradle.
That's so good. That's so good. Thank you so much. I hope this isn't the only time we get to speak to you, because this was an absolute blast. Maybe around All In, maybe around WrestleMania, we can talk a little bit more around. I mean, you got comics coming in the future. Just again, thank you so much for what you do. I think you transcend the medium. I think you make more comic book fans, which makes people. I heard in an interview you say something along the lines of, you can tell if a person is good or bad by how they feel about professional wrestling. And I believe that, and I also believe it's the same way with comics. If you think you know this medium, look at the work of Daniel Warren Johnson, and he will convince you that this can be bigger than what you ever perceived it to be. So, from my heart, from all of ours, to you, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your passion. Thank you so much for your dedication, and keep making more work because we got more stuff to buy.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it, guys.
I'll be picking up that Daredevil number 1.
Yeah, getting on that too.
Thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it, guys.
No, 100%.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you. This
Have
was
a good night.
When's the next con? What's the next con you're going to be at?
So as of right now, I believe it's going to be Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yes, that's and then I'll be at San Diego. That's in July.
John, you'll be there, right?
I hope so. If they give me press.
Heck yeah.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
shoot me a message if you see me in the crowd when Kenny Omega has this match against whoever for the title.
Yeah, that's it. Now we got to get seats in a row, bro. That's what's
dude. Oh my God.
I'm making that a headline. Daniel Warren Johnson spotted at AEW All In.
Dude, at the show, at their when they were in the Arrogant Ballroom in Chicago, I was like ringside. Brody King got me ringside tickets. Like such an incredible dude.
I did not notice you, but it's a beautiful.
Well,
building.
so I kept my phone was blowing up because all my friends were like, "Oh my God, I see you in the crowd."
That's amazing.
Just drinking. What's the Death Water?
Oh yeah,
Death Water.
Death Water. You know, Liquid Death.
Liquid Death. There you go. Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
Yes.
I like Death Water though.
No, that sounds like a New Japan tag team. And now
Liquid
Death Water.
A golf hat on, like it's just pumped up to see Hangman be like, "I'm the champion of the world."
Yes!
I was brought to heaven.
That's awesome.
All right, I gotta go. All right, I gotta go. See you later.
Yeah, go. Sorry. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you so much.
That you? Yes, you.
That's me.
Are worthy. Thank you, guys.
Later, y'all.